Meeting back in session here. And we're going to start with recognitions. Jim,
Okay.
take it away.
Excuse me. First is the RHS custodians. The Rolla Board of Education proudly recognizes the exceptional custodial staff at Rolla High School for their kindness and quick action during the March 14th tornado, when a traveling family needed shelter. Jedediah Barnes, Tom Pemberton, Mark Davis, Jonathan Canfield, Jason Conroy, and Michael Doan welcomed them inside and ensured their safety. Their compassion in a time of crisis exemplifies the strength and heart of our community. Thank you for your dedication. Congratulations, Jedediah. Good to see you.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job, Jeff.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job, Jason.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Robert, why didn't you get the photo?
Yeah. You're on the team.
Okay.
Actually, I was on my way to Mark Twain because the roof collapsed.
Ah, thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, he did. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
Next, we have the RHS Scholar Bowl team. The Rolla High School Scholar Bowl team had an outstanding season, winning the Class 6 District 5 championship and advancing through quarterfinals to secure a third-place finish at the state tournament for the second year in a row. The Board of Education proudly recognizes these talented students for their dedication, teamwork, and exceptional performance, with special congratulations to Muhammad Agra for earning all state honors as the tournament's second highest individual score. Their hard work and perseverance have brought great pride to RHS. Congratulations to the entire team. And a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Keith Peterson, Ryan Hickerson, Pat Brooks, and Jeremy Haberman for their invaluable support and guidance. Your dedication has been instrumental in the team's success. So the team members are Mohammed Agra, captain, Yagut Agra, Tommy Prats, Ivan Kilkovich, Pranav Satala, and Jana Agra. And I apologize if I mispronounced.
Sure, I'd be happy
I
to.
can retire.
Take any opportunity to brag on the kids. So yeah, this year was an exceptional year. We've had, our last 4 seasons here at Rolla High School have been fantastic. We've actually been state finalists the last 3 out of 4 years, which has been fantastic. Mohammed's been with me all 4 of those. Unfortunately, he's graduating this year. We're also graduating Ivan, and then Tommy, and then Pranaj is actually graduating. I believe he's at work this evening. But, so we have Yagut and Jana are both coming back next year. So we're still in good hands. We still have 2 great team members and much to build from. This year, our regular season, we attended multiple tournaments that were high school level tournaments. We finished either first or second in those tournaments, and those usually consisted of 12 to 36 different teams from around the state. And then we attended 2 college level tournaments where if you get a question wrong, they'll actually take points away from you. High school level tournaments, if you get a question wrong, you just stay where you're at and you move on. But at college level, they take points away from you, which is lovely as far as pressure goes and what have you. But in those 2 tournaments, we finished 9th and 8th out of 36 teams from around the state. So they did fantastic. They kept the season fun. During districts, we had nail biters, even though we went undefeated and won, so it gave me a few extra gray hairs. But we had a fun game against Jeff City, and we came out on the better end of that. But no, it's been great. One last thing, and and I'll stop bragging on the kids, but Mohammed actually made the national team for the state of Missouri this year. So he is going to be competing with, I think it's 6 other Scholar Bowl athletes against other states, and that's going to take place this summer. So that's quite the accomplishment. That's the first time we've ever had that happen. This has been the best record we've ever had and the best finish we've ever had in our history, so I'm
Do
very
you have any
proud.
idea when that is?
When is that, Mohammed?
June 21st and
Okay.
22nd.
Very good. Will be great.
And that's in Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah, VCU.
VCU,
Wow.
okay.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, something to build on. Indeed.
Wonderful.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you. Very impressive.
Mohammed will have to come back for the July meeting.
That's right.
I'm considering that.
Should have held him back a year.
That's right.
Exactly.
We'll have you here until you go to
Have an assigned seat just for him.
Yeah, MIT, so it's awesome.
You
Thank
don't
you.
have to stay.
You don't have
You're
to
welcome
stay.
to
You're
stay.
always
To stay,
welcome.
but you don't have to.
Great,
this
thank
is
you.
fun, you
Thanks
can
so much
stay.
for
If
coming.
you want to stay, you're more than happy to.
Thank you for inviting us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. All right, moving on to questions from the floor. At this time, if any person wishing to speak on any question previously discussed through administrative channels and not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes to make a presentation to the board. Seeing none, we will move on to presentations on agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any items on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes to make a presentation. Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. A consent agenda is utilized by the Rolla Board of Education as a means of dealing with routine matters which must be considered by the Board of Education but require a minimum of discussion. All Board of Education members receiving and reviewing written information supporting the items listed on the consent agenda well in advance of the meeting. While any Board of Education member is welcome to remove any item from the consent agenda for separate consideration or discussion for any reason, normally all items on the consent agenda are approved in one motion with a minimum of discussion. Tonight, we have items A through E. Is there anything we need to discuss before voting?
I don't think so, unless anybody has any questions.
No? Does anybody have any questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve our consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through E.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed?
And I'll abstain. Thanks, Amy.
Okay, all right. Moving on now to our old business with our long-range facility update by Dr. Fulton.
Well, for the first time in a while, I actually have a presentation for you. So, I gotcha. If I could draw your attention, I have taken the rendering out. We're done. So, with the exception of a few punch list items, the blue tape is gone, holding up all the FRL panels. So, it looks very much like the rendering and very beautiful. We are very blessed, and thank you to our community for all of their vote of confidence in that. There's just another view from right there, you know, midway up. And thanks to Gina for all the pictures. And then there's the view from the stage going the other way. So again, what's left to do? Just the final punch list items. So they're working on those as we go. But tonight, I am bringing to you change orders. So we had expected a couple, didn't expect all of these, I'll be honest with you. I've had to go back and dig. Some of these were pretty old and went through them, but they are closing out all of their books at KNS, and we're going through everything and things that were missed and things that were there. So this should be hopefully the last list of change orders that we will bring to you. The first 1 and 2, normally they're in number order, but we're going to go out of order for a minute. Change order 79 required structural changes to the dressing room area. That area is directly under our HVAC units in the mezzanine, so it required some more CMUs, some blocks in there, and then we needed to put in some architectural, so they needed to be put in some bulkheads and things and columns to support all of that in there. Column and change order 82 goes right with that because that's the column that was in the dressing room. So I put those two together. Change order 80 was labor and material to complete the installation of the shear tabs for the gymnasium bar joist and the anchoring of the field house structural decking. And just so you know, that all of these have been vetted by our architects and the engineers, so. Change order 81 is adding duct liner for 8 HVAC units. The ones that we knew about and were expecting were change order 83. That was, we talked about reconfiguring the sprinkler main over the stage due to all of the rigging that went in. We are expecting that. And change order 84, I will be honest, those were the 2 circuit relays that had to be installed at a moment's notice because that was what was interfering with getting all of our lighting commissioned. We authorized that to happen because we had to have it for the performance. So I am bringing to you tonight change orders 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, and 84 in the total amount of $30,596.65. I will, one more thing real quick and I'll get you. One of the things on there, it was the, all of the structural and the gypsum jar joist, that was actually knocked down some because it had been so late, they knocked some price off of that. So there was actually a $2,000 deduction that they took off before it came to us. Now your question.
So did we get all the lighting things done?
Yes.
then? All the lighting things?
All done
got
and commissioned, and
Awesome. That's
this
great.
piece, the relays were the pieces that were missing that we
Right.
said order and get in, that we just didn't have
I
time
know
to
there
bring
was
it in.
some back and forth trying to get the lighting and the electricity people and all
Yep.
that, and got it all.
That was it, so that's it.
That's great. That's
Mhm,
great.
We are good.
So is K&S officially done now with the facilities?
Minus the few punch list,
Just the
yes.
few punch
They have to
list
finish the
items,
punch
and
list,
then-
yes.
Then we should be able to
To be,
be done with them.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Did you have something?
No questions. I'll make a motion that we approve change orders 79 through 84 in the amount of
It should be the 396.
$33.96.65.
yeah.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right. Moving on then to the storm recovery update.
Oh, no, we're not done yet.
Oh, we're not, oh, I'm
No, we're not
sorry.
done yet. Sorry.
I apologize.
No, talk a little bit about, since we have ongoing projects, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the Early Childhood Center. This is a rendering that our architects have made of what the building currently exists like with a few extra pieces. Just know that we are constantly meeting with the architects. We've met with them on May 30th. I've met with them again today. And they kicked off their big team meeting on Monday, June 2nd. So we're in constant communication and moving forward with that project. It's very exciting. And we can't forget about the athletic field updates because we are getting ready to go into that turf update as well. Again, we are set to go out for an RFP, hopefully mid-July. I am going back up, I'm going to Honer to meet regarding this project on Wednesday so we can finalize a few more things with all of those. Again, proposed construction to start in November with estimated completion of April, hopefully. So I'll learn a little bit more when I go up and spend the day there on Wednesday. So, going to go up and talk with them, we're going to meet with some companies, and then we're also going to start kicking off, just so for your knowledge, talking about redoing the long-range facility planning as well. So I'm going to talk with Mark about that process, and so we can get that going next fall. So, okay.
All right.
Mon, yeah. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Has to do with projects that are either in the long range or the bond projects. And that is where we stand with our security contracts. Are we going to be available to use all of the Keen systems
Yes, we
this
are.
fall?
We have rolled it out right now for summer school at Truman and at junior high, and we are going active with it. All of the cards are being printed, plans in place with all the staff in August, and we're already assigning them to groups that are using our buildings after hours. So
Okay.
we are moving forward with that.
So we're complete. Very good.
We are complete. Okay,
All right. Any other questions? All right.
okay.
Ready now for the storm recovery?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
So as we revisit again, you know, the tornado damaged multiple areas of our district on the 14th of March. We are, again, working with all of our insurance company and our adjusters and all of our consultants. The work with that, while it has not been entirely smooth, has not been bad. I will tell you, they have been very favorable to work with. Not only do they, you know, hold us accountable, they also guide us in what things we need to do. Their advice has been very sound and very beneficial. So not many people thank their insurance companies, but we need to thank music and all of what they do for schools. Apparently, we can get a middle school roof before I can get a house roof, just saying. Just saying. Okay, so again, whenever I came to you in April, we talked about where do we work backwards from. Again, my date's kind of August 4th. We're going to be pushing that date, but we have to work backwards. And so, but because of that date, we got to have it quit raining, just saying. So, Mark Twain Elementary, where are we now?
Try to help you with that.
Yeah, where are we now? Again, we had 8 classrooms with window damage, 3 need the windows replaced. Cafeteria, kitchen, custodial office, stage area were entire losses, so just keep that in mind. Recovery, of course, we tore those down, we boarded up the windows. Where are we now? The classrooms are operational, everything is working, but we are working with Honer Associates to create plans for the window replacement, planning a new storm shelter and cafeteria, and then what are we going to do with that old area where the cafeteria was? What's the timeline? Approximately 18 to 24 months. What do we have left there to do is waiting on a fencing quote, and those came in today. We're waiting on the actual numbers to come in. So we're making progress there. It will be a while. We will still serve a hot lunch, just like we have been over there. We'll use our cafeteria, gymnasium, whatever.
Cafegimatorium.
Cafegimatorium, yes. Cafegimatorium. So we will still be using that. They finally got that into a rhythm.
Does our kitchen staff who was preparing food at Mark Twain, are they preparing food elsewhere? I mean, our kitchen staff
They are.
is still
They are.
employed just elsewhere
They're
in
at
the
the
district?
junior
Correct.
high.
Okay.
They're going to go, they've been at the high school, they're going to the junior high this year to be closer. They will cook their food there, and we transport it over in a van with all of the heating and precautions
Yes,
and
yeah.
all of the things. So they're doing very well with that.
And the insurance company is still going to take care of the cost of the van
Correct.
through
They
this
are.
whole time until?
Through this whole time.
Wonderful. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Wyman. Again, 20 classrooms with water damage affecting the ceilings, floor tile, lighting, and casework. 2 storage workroom areas, 2 sheds, the playgrounds, the fencing, the roof, the gas line, and of course, we did lose food, but that's all done and all taken care of. So where are we now? So on this map, everything that is to the north, that is that shorter hallway up above, that roofing is 100% complete right now.
Wow.
So that is good. So our custodians are in there working and cleaning rooms and scrubbing floors and getting those ready. And we're actually repainting in all those areas at this time too. Bill and his crew have done a really good job. They already have some of the downstairs ready to go. He's on it. It's going very well. What's holding us up is right here. All of this you approved for us to pay for a portion of the metal decking, but all of the tectum, it looks like a hard spaghetti noodle, but material in the roof
Like ramen
has all
soup.
been damaged. Yes, ramen soup is right. And it is the stinky part. It all has to come out. This will be exposed. So they can't start that until the rain stops. We can't move on in any work in this area until all of that is done, because that will be a mess, I understand, when it comes down. So that is what we're holding up for.
And that's the preschool rooms, right?
It is preschool and kindergarten. So all of those rooms right in there are kind of on hold. We can't bring anybody in until that's done. So, but we're making progress. We have plans. We've met with the company again today. We've met with Patrick. We've met with Bill. So things are moving forward. That will be a push, because once we get in, then they push everybody else in. But first on site, the company that our insurance recommended is working right with our roofers and working with Patrick and working with us. They are all over it. So again, I've talked through all of that. The north wing is complete. That main hallway has to be redone. Then the gas line repair will happen when the roof is fixed. Tile and casework will begin immediately after they can get back in. And our plans are to move in late July, early August. So,
Those rooms that had the tile removed and just had, there was a couple of preschool rooms that were bare concrete.
That whole hallway, both of those hallways, all the way down to the library, all the way back to the playground, have no tile in them right now.
Oh.
I will show you. Here you go.
Okay.
So all of this is
New
done.
tile will go down, it just hasn't.
Yes.
Sorry.
New tile will go
Okay,
down. It
thank
just
you.
has not yet. We can't do anything until all of that roofing is done and replaced. And
So
so
the rooms that had the bare floors, those will get tile back in them.
the rooms that had the bare floors will not get the tile back in because we are having a trouble getting our vinyl tile right now.
Oh.
It was not ordered.
Okay.
The rooms that they took the tile out of has been ordered. So any room that had tile previously will be restored back to the way it was. And all the hallways will be. We had a meeting about that today.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep.
I just remembered noticing it.
Once they do a section of roofing, so they get it weather tight, and they can go in and start their work.
They can, but they don't want to do anything until that tectum's out,
All the tectum?
till they
It's that
replace it.
front wing.
And because those wings intersect and merge, it's going to be a mess no matter where they go and what they do.
Okay.
That's what they're
My
waiting on.
understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's looking for about 5 sunny days,
Correct,
which we have not had.
right,
Because that's going to be completely exposed, right?
completely exposed.
Is there any concern of anything coming in once
I-
they start?
I think once they pull off, they'll probably put things right back on, so they'll protect what areas they have.
Okay.
And that's why we're not wanting to do anything, and that's why they're not wanting to lay tile. Because we also have to wrap pipes, because we abated this area and we took the pipe wrapping off as well. We'll have to cut the air conditioning at some point in order to wrap those pipes back. So there's just a lot of work to go in there at this moment. If you go in there today, you're gonna see little puddles of water, and that's not roof leaking, it's condensation from the pipes in the air conditioning system that we currently have. So there's a lot to do, but we can't wrap pipes till we get the tectum, have to get the tectum out and get it cleaned up, and I have learned a whole lot in the last few
sure
months.
have.
Like it,
So-
read it too, my goodness.
There's a few classrooms right there, and some of those are the rooms that will get the things back. But what I want to show you, and the lights are on order, so you will see some lights up there that have no covers. Those are all the lights that were damaged in the water, and those will have to be replaced. So all of those are being ordered here locally. That company's using one of our local, I think they're using it new, to replace and order and bring all those in. So all of this has to be in and replaced as well. So we will work fast and furious at Wyman. Rolla Middle School, it is moving right along. Again, 11 classrooms damaged with water, ceilings, lights, casework, tile, flooring. The tile flooring actually made it through better than what we thought, because that was the original. 17 HVAC units are set to be delivered by the end of the month. They should go on and be operational hopefully when school starts. We'll kind of be in that same learning mode whenever we get in like we were last year. They will replace the entire natural gas line whenever they put the HVAC units up top. Roof damage has been fixed with the exception of some guttering. They're still working on that. Stage in the dressing room will be the last thing that we do there, which is fine. We're not using that at that moment, so. Gas line, so the final plans for the casework are complete. I have approved those already. Everything that was damaged and taken out will be placed right back in. We've even matched some of the blue that was in there. So one room didn't have blue and gray. Otherwise, we're going back with gray. Light replacements are ordered, expected delivery within the month, and ceiling tiles are currently being installed. So those areas, and those were brand-new ceiling tiles that are being in. So we do have work occurring at the middle school. And you can see where we still have a little bit of it open over here in this room. They were actually working in there when I took that, but then that's what it looks like. So, and again, lights haven't come in, so they'll put them in whenever they come in as well.
So middle school teachers, when they moved from here, they didn't take their stuff straight to classrooms yet? or-
No, because we still have to wax and do other things in there.
So it's all kind of stationed somewhere?
Cafeteria. And the custodians there are working right along and making very good progress there as well. So, softball and track complex, our track is fine, minus a high jump pad. We will get that ordered as soon as I get the approval. We are working with architects to create the plans for the concession stand press box. And why are we working with them to create them? We can't find them. I'm just going to be completely honest. Have no idea where they are. We have looked and looked and gone back and gone back. We have pictures, and so they're going to recreate off of that. So we're doing that, but we are exploring the possibility of converting this field into a combined baseball and softball field. So we are also working on that as well. So look for more information to come there. Transportation and maintenance, everything there is fine. We did have the outbuildings with the roof damage, the electrical issues, tree damage. We're taking care of all of that. Fence damage, again, that quote was coming in today. Again, that is a different roofer doing the roofing there, so we're on the list to get those repaired. Waiting on that fence quote. We have finalized the vehicle claims and work is underway to replace or repair them. So we have slowly replaced one of the trailers so far. The big box band truck, we have to find a box for it. That's all they approved. So we're making progress. RTC, this building will be the last one to get any work. We are not significant enough that I want the schools done before we touch anything here, just so you know. So moving back, what have we done so far? It was quite a feat on Tuesday, and thank you to Mr. Smith and all of the wake teams and the classes, and it was amazing to watch. So Mr. Smith organized it with Mr. Goldschmidt, Mr. Luna, Mr. Slinsky,
Mr. Ray.
Mr. Ray.
Coach Hoey.
Yes, all of them were there, and that was just very well organized. The teachers did a great job packing everything up, having it organized. They had it loaded. I think we were out of Wyman and in Wyman within an hour. So there are some pictures from the early childhood move that we kind of took whenever they were packing up, and then all of the kids working there in the caravan of trucks. It was very good and very well organized. Fifth grade move, we had trucks and we had kids. They came from weights and they go, oh my gosh, I didn't lift this many weights in weights today. So they were lifting boxes and doing all the things. It was really good to see and went very well. Any questions in regards to that?
Let me just clarify to Charlotte's question earlier. So the fifth grade moved everything from this building back to the middle school to the cafeteria to stage till the flooring and everything is done. Same thing with the Green Tree Pre-K for Wyman. Everything got moved back to Wyman, but it's in the cafeteria, just waiting for those classrooms and things to be fixed. The items at Wyman West are packed. They're sitting in their classrooms labeled. Everything is ready to go. But we're going to leave everything right there until their rooms are ready at Wyman and go straight
Move it
classroom
once.
to classroom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
yes.
Did we have an opportunity yet to test the lighting at the softball field?
We have not. We are waiting on Musco to come down. Once they come down, we will hook a generator to each of those poles and see what has or has not been damaged. But we're waiting on Musco at this moment.
And neither of the dugouts were damaged? Are they okay? The roof's on
Oh, no,
them?
they're damaged.
Oh, they're damaged.
I was going to say, because I didn't think I saw that
They're
on the
damaged.
list.
I didn't put
Okay.
pictures in there, but they are damaged. All of
Okay.
that
It
will have to
wasn't
be
listed.
addressed. I didn't
Okay.
put it in the list, but it has to be addressed
I
as
was
well.
like, it didn't look like it was okay, but I didn't. see
No,
it
it's
on the
not
list.
okay. I just didn't add it. No, it's just the whole complex. So,
I would question the integrity of what was left.
Oh, absolutely.
because There was a lot there.
yes, very much so. Okay, questions?
Any other questions?
I won't lie, I'm feeling the pressure. I said, I know it's just early June, but I'm not sure how to make it through summer right now and take off. So it's like, oh my, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on now to new business. So we have our FY '26 budget with Mrs. Atkinson.
Okay, I haven't moved the mouse.
It's still there. Did you move it?
I haven't, no.
All right, FY '26 budget. So a quick overview. If you recall, we began this process back in January, and we start by gathering revenue data throughout those next 4 or 5 months for calculating local property taxes, estimating the foundation formula revenue, looking at what we think the revenue will be for Part B and Title and Perkins and all the other stuff, and analyzing that. We meet with building administrators and department heads to determine expenditures and needs for the buildings, for the classrooms, for the facilities. We start entering all of that into the financial system, usually about mid-April, 1st of May, pulling all of that together. And the reason I wanted to call out fund accounting is that, as you know, we have to record everything in different funds for specific purposes, and that's kind of how I've organized tonight's presentation. So to recap, operating fund is actually made up of two funds, the general fund and the teacher's fund, 10 and 20. Those are used to pay purchase services, so our utilities and other services, contractors, supplies, teacher salaries, all of our support staff salaries and benefits. Then we have the debt service fund that is there solely to pay our debt, so bond interest and principal. And then our capital projects fund, so anything over $5,000 is coded to Fund 40. So we're going to start by looking at operating revenues and the biggest source of those revenues. So local tax revenue, I'm budgeting for an increase of about $139,000. So I don't know about you, but I know I've received a reassessment letter from the county assessor. So we all are very aware that this is a reassessment year. We're looking at an average of a 15% increase to assessed valuation. That being said, there is such thing as the Hancock Amendment, which limits our growth for how much revenue we can gain in a reassessment year. So we are limited this year to CPI, which is at 2.9%. On top of that, our Prop C revenue continues to come in higher. So I've estimated that Prop C rollback that we're going to have to apply to the tax rate here in August to be yet higher. Both of those items result in a lower tax rate. Okay, so that all being said, flow it through the calculator for what I can do now using essentially last year's calculator, because I don't have the forms for this year. I'm estimating an increase of only $139,000. So we'll know a lot more come July when we receive the assessed valuations, and then in August during the tax rate hearing. So I did want to touch on the senior real estate property tax freeze. Dr. Dare and I met with Faith Barnes and Sherry Stites earlier this week at the county offices, just to talk through with them exactly what this really is and make sure that we were understanding it correctly for how they're implementing it. So far, they have received about 2,000 applications. I believe that they're extending that application deadline through the end of June. Is that right? That's what she told us, yes? And the individuals that are over 62 have to reapply every single year. We did confirm with them that this year is going to be the base year. Okay, so anybody who has applied for this tax freeze, their invoices that they get this November will be their base year. That their tax will be frozen. Their liability will be frozen at that rate, unless there are improvements to their property or there's a voter-approved increase to the debt service levy or the operating levy for the different taxing districts. How that gets applied gets really complicated, and so we're going to take this one step at a time. Full disclosure, I don't understand that part of it right now, and I'm not sure they do completely either, so.
And I would point out, those 2,000 applications are countywide.
Correct.
So we obviously will assume that we'll have a large majority of those, but probably not all. But at this point, there's no way to know what that really means going forward.
Do we know how many total tax bills they have for real property?
She gave us that number, but I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's a
I'm
lot more
sorry.
than that.
Well, I understand. That might be, if it's 20,000 versus 4,000, the impact in future years would.
It was a relatively.
Wasn't it like 38,000,
Yeah, it was a
something like
relatively
that?
small percentage of the total tax bills. And keeping in mind, this is only for primary households also, so
Correct.
that limits that a little further.
Yeah. We should know a lot more, well, certainly in the coming months, so.
Yeah, I think.
And we'll
I think-
stay in communication
I
with
think probably by
Faith.
November, we'll know how many and a relative number of what that impact to us is when the bills come out.
Okay. Moving on. So the foundation formula. I'm anticipating and budgeting for a $1.6 million increase to our foundation formula revenue. That is assuming that it is fully funded at $7,145 per weighted ADA and weighted average membership. So weighted average daily attendance and weighted membership. So I want to talk a little bit about that. For this year, this is the first year in a long time that this formula, the foundation formula is calculated slightly differently. They've changed that to move from 100% based on average daily attendance to a 90-10 split between weighted ADA and weighted average membership or enrollment. That is going to result in approximate revenue increase of about $208,000 for us. In future years, that split changes. So next year, it will be an 80-20 split, and then a 70-30, so on and so forth, up until fiscal year 30 and beyond, where it stays at a 50-50 split for the funding source, or calculation, rather. Other operating revenues, Prop C, budgeting for about an increase of around $100,000. And then the calendar incentive that was approved, so that's if school districts that go 5 days and have a calendar of 169 student contact days, have a 1% incentive, 1% of their state aid entitlement, so the foundation formula entitlement. Based on this year's state aid formula, we will receive that next year. So it's 1% the next 2 years, and then after that, it's 2%, assuming that we stick with at least 169 contact days in the calendar. And I believe that is being approved. It's on the governor's desk, or that has,
Been
right?
approved by the legislature, has not
Yes.
been signed by the governor yet.
Yeah. So let's look at operating revenue sources. So I have two different slides on this. This one, because we talk a lot about the property taxes, foundation formula, Prop C. So how do those compare in reference to all the other local, or rather, other operating revenue that we receive? So certainly property taxes is right up there, about 32%. If you look at it for the total sources, local, state, federal, and then county and other, we have about 47% of our operating revenue comes from our local taxpayers. So it seems like since I got into this position, we're getting more and more heavily towards our local taxpayers. Okay. And then this year versus next year for budgeted operating revenues. The overall increase to budgeted operating revenues is about $1.5 million, primarily due to that budgeted increase to the foundation formula. I'm sorry, those colors didn't really show up very well on the screen. I apologize for that. So moving on to operating expenditures, so salaries and benefits. Earlier this year, you approved movement on the salary schedules, a base increase of 2%, and then still recommending no changes to the insurance premiums. So that's what I have budgeted for. You have also approved some additional staff, an elementary assistant principal, high school counselor, and 4 classroom teachers. So combined salary changes, new staff, and attrition, savings from attrition, results in an additional $1.4 million in salaries and benefits expenditures for next year. Other operating expenditures, so that, again, this is supplies and purchase services, some kind of our big ticket items, just so people are aware of what this costs. We've never really talked about this too much. So the math textbook adoption is budgeted at $900,000. General classroom supplies at $935,000. Our new phone system, we're looking at maybe $150,000 for that. Special ed services and tuition, so not salaries and benefits, but for contracted services and tuition, about $1.25 million. And then a little bit of increase to, just because of inflation and tariffs, we've already received some invoices that have a flat amount for a tariff charge. So this being passed through to us. So that was kind of, shouldn't have been a shock, but it was kind of a shock to see those invoices start coming in like that. So overall, though, the purchase services and supplies is only increasing about $70,000 over current year budget. So percent of total operating expenditures, salaries and benefits are a full 75% of our overall operating expenditures. And then this year as compared to next year, again, salaries and benefits make up the majority of our increase in expenditures by $1.4 million overall. So operating fund recap, $58.3 million in revenues, $60.1 in expenditures, budgeting for a $1.8 million deficit, ending fund balance of 23.32%. That is based on ending this year at about a $521,000 surplus. I would anticipate something very similar for next year and still ending this year slightly better than that. We're still wrapping up the year, and I haven't had time to go back and look to see if that's changed since our last board meeting. Any questions regarding the operating fund? Okay. Moving on to debt service. So this is something that I've never really discussed in a budget meeting, which probably should. It's part of the budget that you approve. So again, debt service fund exists solely to pay our bond principal and interest payments. The debt levy is calculated in August, and we are required by law to collect enough to pay our debt. We don't really have a lot of wiggle room. It's just a calculation. It tells us what our tax levy is. What we do have wiggle room in is that we voluntarily are able to roll back that levy if we feel we do not need that much revenue. And we've been able to do that consistently for several years now. So this current year, we've rolled it back 35.32 cents. So the levy actually said we could collect 93.82 cents. Okay, so we've been able to roll that back. So most of our revenue for debt service comes from our local taxes and state assessed utilities. We do have currently a federal subsidy for our 2010 C bond issue. That issue actually gets paid in full in fiscal year '27, so that payment drops off, but so does that revenue. And then budgeted for about $135,000 in interest going into that fund. So total revenue of $3.3 million. And then to my point earlier, our total payments are only $3.25 million. So we budget again to and try to plan accordingly to have basically our revenue match our expenditures in a given year. So our principal payments for current bond issues are $1.5 million and almost $1.7 million for next year for interest. And then moving into the capital projects revenue. So again, capital projects for expenditures over $5,000 per item. So our revenue sources for the capital projects come from the financial institution tax, the M&M surtax, and payment in lieu of taxes. We also have some interest that goes into that fund. Our facility rentals, most of those come from our East Central College rent from that agreement, and then some CTE enhancement grant revenue goes in there. And then our expenditures, we are budgeting to purchase 4 buses this year at a total cost of about $700,000. CTE equipment expenditures of $282,000. Our 2023 bond issue expenditures, hoping to finish that up next fiscal year of about $3 million. And then the certificate of participation payment. So that was essentially the loan that we had to take out in 2022. Because it's not a bond, it's a loan. It comes out of the Fund 4 account from capital. Okay, so that's $611,000 there. So recap of the capital projects fund, I'm anticipating a beginning balance next year of $9.1 million, receiving $1.3 in revenues, budgeting to transfer $2 million from the operating account, $7.2 going out for an ending fund balance and capital of $5.2 million. And then overall budget recap primarily for the operating, because that's what we focus on the most. Operating deficit, again, $1.8 million for budget, $2 million transfer to capital projects, ending fund balance of 23.32%. Are there any questions? Okay. All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, can we get a motion to?
I'll make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you.
Pick one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Thanks.
I do want to point out really quickly, there are things in that are not included in this. So as we discussed this evening, we'll have expenditures for the things that we want to do, that insurance won't cover, the football field. All of those are very, very unknown amounts at the time that I had to complete the budget. So we'll come back to you at later board meetings for budget supplement approvals for those items.
Thank you,
Sounds good.
Kendra.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, next on our agenda is communications plan, an update by Mrs. Veros.
She usually just has to sit nice and quietly in the
I
back. I
know.
love it when she gets to come
Gets
down
to
and talk
participate tonight. Don't worry, I only have 68 slides. Just
I
kidding.
didn't review that many.
Well, you'll want to review again. I've made some changes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me this evening. I always love delivering this report to you all. Excited to share with you some of the work that's being done in communications. You have a copy of the proposed plan in your board documents. I'll ask you to consider approving that just a little bit later, but since the plan is an ongoing version of the last couple of years since our new CSIP was established, I'm going to keep those CSIP connected goals kind of high level tonight. We'll focus on sharing the year in review and what's on the horizon for next year. But as always, happy to take any questions as we go. So just a quick reminder here, some of the lists here's a list of some of the things that happen under the umbrella of the Communications Department at Rolla Public Schools. I know most people see me out in the community and at buildings with my camera, and I promise that photography and social media are just a small part of what goes on in my office. Every day is really different, and I almost always get my steps in, so I am never, ever bored. Staying connected with families has become increasingly tech-heavy the last few years. These are the platforms we use at the district level for communication. We have 8 websites, 1 at the district level and 1 for each school. Collectively, those house thousands of pages of content. Department leads and other assigned staff members keep an eye on those pages. Some of them have editing rights, but for the most part, about 90% of the web editing and content updates happen in the communications office. This time of year, the website audit is front of mind and a high priority as we get ready for returning families in August and some of the annual update things that are happening right now. That next icon is Parent Square. We're wrapping up our first year with Parent Square. I have a lot of things to talk about in regards to Parent Square. Of course, no tech ever works perfectly, but I'm really proud of how this year has gone and the adoption rate throughout the district. Again, have some stats to share shortly, so you'll see what I mean. The dragonfly there, moving to the right, represents Intrado. That's our crisis communications tool. We use that tool to run drills, take attendance in a crisis, for reunification in the event of a crisis. The app integrates with our local PSAP and 911 centers. We are taking a really close look at that platform right now to see if we can make some improvements there. And then to the right of that one, the peach is peach jar, not peach tree. That's our digital flyer distribution. This is our 5th year using the peach jar system, and I'm still really pleased with it, so plan to keep that for the foreseeable future. I have some more stats on that one too. And then, of course, we share information, great news on our social media platforms, and we have fantastic relationships with our local newspaper, the Phelps County Focus, and Dr. Dare and I visit them on the Morning Mayor Show at least once a month, so we have a lot of fun with that. Oops. The communications plan is deeply connected to the district CSIP with a focus in our 4 main areas: academic success, climate and culture, support systems, and leadership. Each one of these areas has a unique set of goals as it relates to the communications department and a very long list of tactics and strategies within the plan. But again, in the interest of time, I'm going to go through these very quickly. Please stop me if you have questions. 4 main goals in the communications plan relating to the areas of academic success. Number 1 there is all staff, faculty and staff will participate in learning opportunities aligned to district goals and identified areas of improvement. I mentioned Peach Jar. We use Peach Jar a lot for that sort of thing. So if we have academic institutions or community partners that have opportunities for our staff to learn and grow, we share that information through those channels. Also on the list is something that has been on the list for a while and is moving to the top of the list for this year is a password-protected resource page for staff. I know Dr. Welch has been working on that in the background, and we still have plans to improve that user experience. Goal number 2, Rolla students will be success ready at all times. That portrait of a student piece to the CSIP, that's something that will also move to the top of the list this year. So we'll work with the superintendent team to determine the best plan of action there and how they want that data displayed. This will be used both internally and as an informative tool to give stakeholders a tangible idea of the academic and social emotional benchmarks used as students advance through their K-12 careers here with us. Another strategy employed to meet this goal in the communications department is to further partner with our regional post-secondary institutions and expose students to advanced projects, demos, and learning opportunities. Goal 3, increasing the number of families and community members participating in our volunteer program. In the fall of 2019, we had 126 registered volunteers, and then we had COVID. And that number dropped dramatically. We have made a significant climb back in the right direction this year. Last year, we had 55 registered volunteers, and we're up to 74 as we end the year right now. So happy with that. And then finally, goal 4, increasing the awareness of early childhood. Perfect timing with the new Phelps County Community Foundation Early Childhood Center. We've spent a lot of time building awareness around the benefits of early childhood education. We have a new landing page on our website for the Early Childhood Center, and have been in front of dozens of live groups around the community, so excited to continue that work. In climate and culture, we're going to work to build on existing communications efforts with families to enhance more broad-based awareness, particularly with those who don't generally come in contact with the district. This is a big goal with a lot of moving parts, and you can see from all the strategies listed in the plan, there's a combination of internal and external channels, and it really just focuses on expanding those existing relationships and making new relationships with our community partners. Goal number 2, promoting that positive work environment. This is one of my favorite parts of the job. Dr. Fulton and I have been working with the Climate and Culture Committee here at the district level, and we are working on a new staff recognition program, so more to come on that later. And then, of course, using our existing channels, social media, Parent Square, to do regular recognitions such as Top Dog Tuesday, and just recognizing all the great work that's going on around the district. And then I've combined support systems and leadership here. That first goal references safety and security. I mentioned Entrado. We are doing some work there on that crisis communications platform. And then goal 2 references leadership. And I've included a lot of our external community engagement pieces here. So a lot of the work there is already being done or in progress, but we always have ways to improve. One of the ways I like to challenge myself is to edit the list because I really like to say yes to everything. And that's not always the best plan of action. So that is, in a nutshell, the goals that provide the structure for this plan. I'm going to pause there for questions before I get into some of the communications data points from this past year. Okay. As I mentioned, we are wrapping up our first year with Parent Square. As you recall, we rolled out this two-way communication app and mass comms tool last fall. Everyone has done a really great job adopting it. We had some consistency issues going into last year. We had some schools using one platform, some schools using another. It was very confusing for families and students alike. And so our goal was to bring everyone under one umbrella. And I'm just, again, really proud to say our staff was quick to adopt it. Our parents, for the most part, really seemed to love it. We plan to do some education around those settings in the parent app just to help guide folks that feel like maybe they're getting too many notifications. We can help you fix that. So if that's you, feel free to reach out and I'll show you where to find those settings. But our survey data leading up to last year had revealed that many families were frustrated with that inconsistency and just not really knowing where to look. So we adopted Parent Square, and it has been a very successful year. I want to give a shout out to Megan Duncan, who is our core data wizard. What's her actual title? I don't know. She manages our student information system, and without her, a lot of our platforms around the district would not work at all. And she has put in just so many hours behind the scenes to make sure that this runs smoothly and everything works the way that it's supposed to. So thank you, Megan. There are two parts to Parent Square. One is the mass communications tool, and that's the one way that sends out the calls, the texts, the emails, and the app notifications that you don't respond to. So think snow day, big blast, here's the news, just you get, right? This is a screenshot from the district dashboard in Parent Square. It tells us who we have in the system. You can see the number of students, staff and teachers, how many parents. Now that parent number is double, so it's a little bit misleading. And then we also do have some guests in our system. These might be families from St. Pat's that join us for athletic teams or other opportunities. So we can add folks in manually for that kind of thing. This dashboard also helps us learn who is not getting the information. So it's a quick and easy glance to see, are we missing some emails? Do we have emails that bounce back? Do we have bad phone numbers? Also, the language report is interesting to me always. Parents can, or students can select the language they prefer to use in Parent Square, and they can receive instant translations based on their selection. Parent Square hosts 118 different languages, so very robust and lots of options there. This slide shows reach and deliverability. At least one parent of every student has opted to receive emails from us, and more than that number has opted to receive text. Our adoption rate for the app itself is still a little bit low. It's really high at the elementary and middle school levels. It's really low at the junior high and high school levels. So we have more students on the Student Square piece of this platform in grades 7 through 12 than we have parents. So the students are using it really well. The parents at those 7 through 12, not so much. So we have some work to do in education there. But again, happy to see our elementary students and our middle school, or elementary and middle school families utilizing that really well. All of our sports teams, clubs, band, from grades 7 through 12 has switched to this platform. And so again, the students have figured out that's where the information is, and they want to be there too. I will say you don't have to have the app to log into Parent Square, so that's also maybe some of this missing piece where the app hasn't been downloaded. You can log into Parent Square from a desktop, and we do have parents that do that. So you can go in and read the information on your computer. You don't have to have the app on your phone. You also do not have to have the app to receive the calls and texts and emails. The one-way communication piece of Parent Square will bypass all of that, regardless of whether or not you have an active Parent Square account or you've downloaded the app. So just wanted to make sure that was clear. And then I just wanted to show off the super users. Look at Wyman go. They had almost 2,500 posts in their Parent Square page this year. So that includes their classrooms and clubs and groups. But they definitely utilized the tool really well this year. We made 98 posts at the district level. Pretty sure at least 90 of those were tornado related. Just kidding, kind of. But the 98 at the district level are typically big news. So again, think snow days, large announcements, food pickups, anything, urgent throughout the day. Those come from the district level accounts. We had 727 school posts, so within those pages, 7,200 plus class posts, and 3,400 plus group posts. So again, I'm feeling pleased about the adoption rate. And this is just a shot of the inside of Parent Square if you've never seen it. It has kind of a social media scroll feel to it. I like that I can go back and find things because I forget. But I know that I saw it somewhere. And if I saw it, it's going to live right there, and I can scroll till I find it. Helpful for people who have a lot in their brains. So moving on to social media, I know social media sometimes gets a bad rap, but it can be an exceptional tool to engage and educate. We know that there are amazing things happening in our buildings all day, every day, but not everybody necessarily does. So it's a great opportunity to share those little glimpses inside of the education world here at Rolla Public Schools. And I know that if we aren't telling our story, someone else is. So we have to take advantage of that opening. It's also a great tool for two-way communications with our community that helps build trust. We can answer questions quickly. If someone has a question, someone else probably has the same question, and we can place those answers publicly for people to see and reference. So just quickly, I wanted to point out some growth. On the right-hand side, you can see in those last two columns the numbers differing between last year and this year. We continue to steadily gain followers on that Facebook page, and we're so close to 10,000, which doesn't matter to anyone but me, but 10,000 gets you kind of a different visibility ranking on that platform. So if you're listening and you have not subscribed to our Facebook page, please go hit that like button right now. I really appreciate it. It would make me so happy.
I'll ask my kids to do
Yeah, please. Yeah.
They're not in here, but.
Instagram continues to show growth, not as significant as our Facebook page. That's just where our people are. So now that we know that, we can just continue to focus our efforts there. Our younger families and our students are on Instagram, so they're seeing our content. They just don't tend to engage as much as folks do on Facebook. We added LinkedIn new this year, slow growing, but I have some big plans there to work with Dr. Fulton and her staff to help with some recruiting campaigns on LinkedIn, so more to come there. And then I added our YouTube numbers. I just hadn't been tracking those for you, so I threw them on the list so that we can track them going forward. Real quick about Peach Jar. This is just a snippet from the inside of Peach Jar, what you see when you distribute a flyer, where it lands, how many people see it. This is a district-wide post, so it's showing the number of deliveries, how many people opened it, and how many people clicked a button on that flyer. So we have really good analytics here to see where the information's going and who's actually taking action. This has been really helpful for like our sports camps because we can create buttons within those flyers. A parent might be looking at that on their phone. They can click the button that says sign up here and it takes them right to the sign up page. So lots of great uses for this and a great way to partner with our community that always has amazing opportunities for our kids. This year we put out 1,100 flyers. Some were ours, most were not. Average inbox reach was 3,700. We saved 330,000 pieces of paper. Yay, us. And then again, just a great way to partner with many of our community organizations that like to reach our families. This next page shows some of the top hits on our website. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. People go there to find calendars, lunch menus, the staff directory, information on job openings, and student enrollment registration information. So just some numbers there. I thought that was interesting. 538,000 hits since last June on our homepage, so people are definitely visiting our website. That slide says Smart Sites. It shouldn't. It should say survey results, so my apologies. This is some preliminary survey data from our recent climate and culture survey. Dr. Fulton will do a deep dive with you on this a little bit later. But for now, I wanted to snip some of the responses on our communications questions. I'm going to focus on the top one, and I know it's hard to see. It says effective channels are in place for parents and the community to communicate with the district. So 97% of our staff agreed, disagreed, or were neutral in that statement, with that statement. 89% of our families and 79% of our community. So really positive responses there that we have effective communications channels in place. Also wanted to briefly update you on the scoreboards and signage at Rolla High School. These are the large digital boards that were installed last year and the fall of '23. There are two of these boards. One sits at Lions Memorial Field. That's the one that's on the screen. And there's another one in the field house. These large video boards were installed using sales from sponsorships. And that's what you see on the signs surrounding those large boards. So again, an advertiser-supported contract, mostly 5-year contracts. We do have a couple of 10s in there that negotiated up front. Almost $700,000 in revenue from this project, so $690,000 in revenue. They are all sold, so we're wrapped here, except for a few digital packages. So if you have interest in digital advertising on these boards, please contact me. But the signage opportunities are all taken for the next 5 years.
So is that number, is that the 5-year number, or is that this year?
That's the 5-year number.
That's the 5-year number?
Yes.
We made that much, we'll make that much in 5 years?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, and then the one 10-year contract is included in that number.
Okay.
So that's the full payout for everything that's contracted right now.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. And then I also just wanted to remind you that this scoreboard provides learning opportunities for our students. So big thank you to Megan Willie, teacher at the high school, and Peter Bryant, coach and teacher at the high school. They have done a great job coordinating this board on the back end. So a lot of times it's either them or their kids that are running, their students that are running this board. Megan Willie's video production class creates a lot of the graphics for the boards, which is a great experience for them. And then also there's some curriculum and training that goes with the actual physical running of the boards. So pushing the buttons, moving the features around, learning the interior of that platform, which is more complicated than you'd think. But it's an in-demand field, and we're going to see more job demand for skills like this. So I think it's really cool that we offer this to our students. Okay, a couple other highlights from the year. Dr. Welch and I worked together on an attendance counts campaign. These are a couple of graphics from that campaign, just reminding families of the importance of every minute of the school day and being present. It's tough to measure the impact of things like this, but I will say that they were very well received by our community and generated a lot of positive comments and conversations online. So definitely happy to see this. This was a series of infographics that was spread over 5 weeks last fall. So we can definitely work on something similar again this year. Also, hot off the presses, and new to our communications toolbox this year is a boundary map locator. This has been linked to our website. It is under the district tab if you're looking for it, and also available as a button on our enrollment page. So I shared this with our local realtors group today, awaiting their feedback, but hopefully this will be helpful for families who are looking to move to the area or even within the area to make sure they're getting great information on which district they're in, which elementary zone they're in, whether or not they're in a walk zone. So there's a lot of good information here on this map. And then finally, drum roll please. I present to you the 25-26 word of the year chosen by our staff at almost a 60% vote. The word of the year for 25-26 is resilience, and I think we earned it.
Yes, we did.
There were a lot of write-ins for fine. We went with resilience.
Fine, I'm
Yeah.
fine. Everything's fine.
Really proud of our staff for keeping it professional on that survey.
Love it.
Also wanted to update you on CORE activities. This year, CORE put 31,000 plus directly back into our buildings, providing funds for enrichment and student needs. I've been working really closely with Ashley Grisham this year to assist in providing support for some of our high school students that have been stepping out on their own for the first time, and just, maybe some of those groups of kids that get overlooked from time to time because they are self-sufficient. So proud to help carry on some of that work. In addition to fundraising, just a reminder, CORE houses over $1 million in investments, including 23 perpetual scholarships. And this year, the CORE board voted to draw $50,000 from investments, dividends, and donate that amount to the Future Early Childhood Center at Rolla Public Schools. And that $50,000 contributed toward the Shymack Family Foundation matching grant led by the Phelps County Community Foundation. So this photo is the majority of both boards coming together to celebrate that donation. So huge thank you to our corporate sponsors, our individuals, and those that make our events a success every year so we can do this work. Speaking of events, we have a golf tournament coming up August 5th at 11 a.m. Putting contest starts at 9:30, so don't be late. Lots of games, lots of prizes. We met with the committee yesterday at the core board meeting, and they have some really fun things planned for you. Also on homecoming weekend, we host the Maroon and Gray Soiree. This is the 5th annual, and you don't have to like Taylor Swift to come. This is really just more for me probably than anyone. So the theme this year is In Our Bulldog Era, and we hope to see you there October 18th at Hasselman Alumni House. Tickets for both of these events are linked on our website under the Community tab, and they're on the CORE Facebook page and on Eventbrite for the soiree. just wrap up here, sharing some projects that are coming soon. 25, 26 wish list, is that the right word? I don't know. I mentioned our staff recognition program, still working on that, so we will definitely share when we have more solid plans for that. I do think this list gets longer every year. As I mentioned, I like to say yes to everything. So I'm going to keep it here for now. We will also be going through an ADA compliance audit. I think you probably heard me say last year, we are facing a compliance deadline of April of '27 for all of our public-facing communication. So there's a lot of work to do there, going through our website, ensuring that all of our public-facing communications are compliant. And then there will be some staff training pieces to go along with that to make sure that everyone understands what that looks like, what the rules are, how we can incorporate best practices, and just do that work. I'm working on some Bravo enhancements to our volunteer program. Plan to make that process a little easier, looking for options for an online form so that you don't have to print the papers. And also working to incorporate a community group of volunteers into Parent Square so we can use that app to communicate with that group going forward. Streamline that a little bit. Golden Bulldogs is on the list. That one's still kind of a secret, but I'll share a little bit with you. This is a concept to bring in our seniors quarterly for just a meet and greet on a certain topic. We'll vary the location, and again, just bring that set of our population into our buildings back to the CSIP goal that incorporates our members of our community that don't necessarily come into contact with us as often as we'd like, and try and bridge that gap. Crisis communication app upgrades, I think I covered, and the portrait of a series. So, finally, before I close, I just want to give a special thank you to Jordan McConaughey, the communications assistant in my department, for taking on some of the behind-the-scenes work this year of the daily operations and the large projects and the tornado and all the things, we don't plan some of those things. Jordan's out right now, but I know she would be here if she could. So Jordan, if you're watching, thank you for all you do, especially keeping me on track, which is probably a bigger job than all the rest of it. She's been a great addition to the communications team this year. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions? This is great. Great stuff.
Thank
Great
you.
information. Really appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you so much.
Do you need us to approve your plan?
I do.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the communications plan?
I make a motion to approve the communications plan as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our superintendent's report.
Just a couple things this evening. Summer school obviously in full swing. Dr. Welch kind of coordinates that enrollment process and all those pieces. But we're using Truman Junior High and High School this year. So if you're out and about in town around noon, you'll notice a little extra traffic in those areas. So be aware of that, and the buses on the road too. But similar enrollment to what we've had the past couple of years. So we're just under 1,500 currently in seated, or in session now. High school is enrolling, and you correct me if I say something wrong here, but high school is enrolling for their July sessions, which are all virtual. But all that's in the works. And so all seems to be going really well there, and I appreciate all the efforts of everyone to make that a smooth start. Transportation, food service, everybody does their part. MSBA Summer Summit next week, so I think most of you are attending that, so looking forward to that. And then just as a reminder, all of our summer maintenance stuff is going on. So as you're going, even coming into this building, you see painting going on and furniture in the hallways as they're waxing, all those things. So people sometimes get a little nervous when they're walking into buildings and they see all this stuff, but that's what we do in the summer. And our crews do a great job. We're very appreciative of our custodians and maintenance folks for all their efforts. So that's all I have tonight.
Awesome, thank you. Summer Summit's in a couple of weeks, actually.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I said next week. It's not next week.
weekend next
I keep trying
Yeah,
to steal a
it's
week.
16th. That's
true.
all right. No problem.
No, that's good.
We'd like to draw your attention to the written reports. We have attendance, financial reports, the cafeteria report, and the library report as well. Any comments from any of our board members?
I was going to mention a Zoom meeting that I was on the other day with MSBA. Had just a couple of things I wanted to mention to everybody. MSBA's new board member training in order to qualify for the governance award, our new board members need to be trained before July 1st. I know that Larry's already got his training on
Way
the
to go,
schedule,
Larry.
but I don't know that everybody realized that that was a governance award change, because I know anyway, in years past, you had plenty of time, and it's not that you can't do it later, it's a governance word. We also talked about there is one other organization that you can be trained through, MARE, which we are members of, our district is, although they may not have as many training opportunities as MSBA, but if someone did MARE training instead of MSBA new board member training, it would still be accepted as okay for like governance or things like that. And then one of the other things they talked about is they have revised the board self-evaluation process a little bit. They've moved from SurveyMonkey to Qualtrics, which I think we use for some things here.
We just renewed.
They reduced, edited some of the questions, and changed the categories that it's all broken out to into 5 specific categories. It seems really good. It's able to be piloted by us if we would like to. I know we've talked about in the past doing our self-evaluation. It's not something like we have to decide right now. It's not open till July 1st, and it'll be open through November 1st. So if we wanted to be a part of that process, they assign us one of the MSBA staff, and that person pushes out to us a survey, this 79-question survey. Then we get the results, and then we would also have one of them come down, review results, talk through things that were significant or things that came about from the questionnaire. So it's kind of how that works. And anyway, I told them we might be interested. I wanted to talk to you guys first, and if we want to get on somebody's calendar, then we would just need to do that.
It sounds interesting, and it's on our list to do,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Do you know if they're going to have a session on that at the Summer Summit?
I don't know that it's on the board self-evaluation. There is a session about all the different award changes and all those qualifications that we put together, so. Yeah. Which, like I said, you can go if you want, or I can just bring the info back for you.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll be the board.
Okay. No, that sounds, is everybody open to that idea of
I am.
trying to pilot that? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and move forward with that. Sounds good. All right. Anyone else? All right. So our next board meeting is going to be
Did you want to say
June.
something?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
oh, okay.
Just making sure.
We don't want to leave you out, Larry. All right. Our next board meeting will be June 30th, and of course, that will actually be a morning meeting versus an evening meeting for that. And if we have no other questions, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Someone
I
like-
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.